Right.
Let's talk about some of the people of Thinking Machines.
Okay.
So Danny Hillis was, in my world, he was my mentor. He, for the Connection Machine Model 1, every transistor in that thing was there because of Danny. I played a role of helping make it come true. I was one step closer to reality from Danny. And I was a certain level of filter that took some of these ideas. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, and I would sort of filter some of them down and try to make them the next level work. And there are people that would work on all the way through. And I don't think of it as down, and he didn't think of it as down.
Right.
It's over in the sense that there's ideas, there's architecture, there's chip design, there's board design, there was packaging, and how do you go and make this thing? How do you communicate it? How do you do the software for this thing, which is really unknown? He had his hand in all of these things, but there were people that were just unbelievable. Or how do you go and make a company out of a bunch of bonzos from MIT and make that come about with and communicate such that if you're going to sell a machine for $5 million,
I think it was only $3.
$3 million, you had to go and get approval through a lot of people that had no idea what you're talking about. So who are some of the people involved? There's Danny and Cheryl, they were the founders. There's Howard Resnikoff, who was one of the early shakers. I loved his line of, to err is human. And he'd put little stars around the human and sort of snarky sort of, yeah, maybe we're going to get over this.
What was Howard's role in the company?
In the founding of the company, he worked on trying to build up the community and outreach to smart people and bring them together. Cheryl had this great idea of going and having it be in this mansion in the middle of Waltham.
Which was wonderful.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was such a great setting to go and think great thoughts. And she sort of talked them into allowing us to use this old historic mansion as a place. And so the idea of bringing together Richard Feynman, Carl Feynman's father, Stephen Wolfram came for a time, and they were just all of these different points of view. A lot of them were woven together by Howard Resnikoff. And then he left. Your Coming just brought a level of artistic and thoughtful design, not only to the machine, but to the people in the organization building the machine.
What does that mean?
Well, okay, that you went and spent time going and making the design, the T-shirt, that actually is kind of iconic out of what Thinking Machine became as part of the T-shirt, right? It's on Richard Feynman on billboards, on the Apple ads. That was a thoughtful thing towards having us weave together, because we weren't going to come up with this as just the brainchild of Danny Hillis and it's springing fully formed. It had a large number of people pouring their all into the different aspects to it. Carl Feynman was involved in the project for as long as I was. Cliff Lasser, these are the software guys.
What was Carl Feynman's role?
Carl Feynman is one of those amazingly brilliant people that if you give them just the right problem, they will come out with an answer that you'll have never thought of. And so he's not the person to build the bridge. He's the person to go and say, we've got a real problem that it looks like it's going to fall down because of this type of joint. And he'll rethink it. So, an example. We were stuck. The Connection Machine, we were designing this computer chip. I think it was the Connection Machine Model 2. It might have been the Model 1 chip. And we needed a router to go and direct all the messages around, right? So the equivalent of the internet within the computer.
There was a router in the one.
There was a router in the one, and we had the basic cell for making the decisions was too many gates. It was too big. And I went off to California to work with and we were trying to cram it down, and we couldn't get it. It was like, the whole project was going to stop.
Oh my God.
And so gave to Carl Feynman, and he took with his father. Danny and I worked on it. I got it down to here. Then Danny, brilliant, got it down to 16 gates, something like that. We thought we were done. That was all it could do. But it still wasn't enough. And Carl Feynman and Richard Feynman went off, and he sent a postcard. The design came back on a postcard.
Oh, fantastic.
And it was down at 11 and a half gates.
Oh my God, you don't have that postcard, do you?
No, hopefully it's part of the Internet Archives, the Thinking Machines archives.
Is there a Thinking Machine archive?
I hope so. But this postcard came back that was hand drawing, and if you look at it, it requires deeply understanding how chips are laid out at a very low level to build it back up into what it is that was done. So he saved the connection machine.
Wow.
But there's so he's a brilliant man. There's the guys that tried to make the software work, Guy Steele, Cliff Lasser, and made it so that other people could figure out how to program this thing. Jim Salem. It was a cluster of some of the smartest people. And Thinking Machines, I think by having a high dream, was able to bring people together to work on not a slavish thing. We weren't working for the next quarter's profits. It was, let's build something great. Let's set the goal high. Let's make something beautiful. Who works on a computer to make them beautiful? No, you make it so they can ship.